Right, good evening ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this meeting of Shepreth Parish Council. A couple of housekeeping notes. Obviously for anybody not being here before, you're being filmed. Parish Council is also making its own... Yep, as is on. Parish Council is also making its own film which will be uploaded to YouTube on our own Shepreth Parish Council official account. Right, okay, we'll get straight on with it. 609 to receive apologies. I've not had any apologies, Maria.
No apologies.
No, okay, so no Sean. And Philippa is on her way?
Yeah, she's okay.
Okay, no problem at all. Okay, to receive declarations of interest for any matters being discussed on the agenda this evening. Obviously you all have been granted dispensation with regard to the parish, to the village hall, but you've got to just declare that you...
And the summer fair.
well, the summer fair is a committee, isn't it, of the village hall at the moment, not the village hall, the parish council. So, yeah, so do you just want to declare that you've got that dispensation?
I do.
Yep, okay, that's fine. Any other declarations of interest on any matters on the agenda? Oh, okay. Right, to approve the minutes of the meeting of the 8th of October. You've all seen them. Are you happy for me to sign this as a true and fair representation of the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Yes. In that case, I will. Okay, updates and decisions from previous meeting. Have you got any updates, Maria?
I've got a few updates.
Okay.
The letter to the tenants with regard to vandalism went out from BPHA.
This is Collins Close.
Collins Close.
Right.
It went out a couple of weeks ago, asking them to be vigilant and to report any acts of vandalism if they see anything. We've applied to the LHII grant for the VA speed activated sign.
This is the flashy sign as you come into the...
Yeah, on Barrington Road. We applied for that. I've also booked Jimmy, who volunteered very kindly on the ROSPA course for the routine visual inspection of the playgrounds, which is in March. That's good. Yeah. We might nearly have a solution to the light in the phone box. There's an electrician who's been looking at it, and he's going to hopefully fit something in the next few days, which will work. Yeah. Finally, we've been working on it for about a year. Yeah. The double yellow lines at Frog End are due to be painted or put down, what we call it, anytime soon. It's weather dependent though. It was supposed to be last week, but it should be any time soon. Thanks for your help on that, Susan.
No problem.
Yeah. They're the key updates. The rest of it will come out in the meeting.
Okay, anybody else with any other updates from the last meeting? No? Okay, fine, right. Moving straight on then, 631, public participation. Anybody out there with anything to say on, sorry, 613, sorry, on matters on the agenda this evening?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
On the 8th of October, during the Parish Council meeting, I inquired about disabled access to a proposed upstairs new room to the village hall. At the end of the parish meeting, Councillor Brackenborough came up to me and stated that he had just spoken to County Councillor Susan van der Ven, and she had told him she did not think we would need it. I stated, I think you do, not only for the disabled, but also for the elderly. Councillor Brackenborough became belligerent and tried to intimidate me using disparaging remarks and commented on my ability to walk as we left the room. I came back into the meeting room where I believe the parish clerk, most of the parish councillors, and at least one member of the public was still present. Councillor Brackenborough was insulting, shouting, nasty and bullying towards me. He made me feel vulnerable and very uncomfortable, both with his insults and his unwarranted behaviour. Councillor Brackenborough was deliberately harassing and distressing me. He even came to the back door of the village hall after I had left to shout another insulting remark. Not one single councillor made any attempt to stop Councillor Brackenborough. I am a member of the public. I did not deserve to be treated like that just because I asked about disabled access. I have taken advice on Councillor Brackenborough's behaviour and treatment towards me, and I am advised that Councillor Brackenborough has breached the Equality Act 2010,
Sorry, the what act?
the Equality
Oh,
Act
right.
on disability discrimination. Furthermore, the Equality Act under harassment places a duty on the premises, in this case the parish council's meeting room, to ensure they do not engage in unwanted conduct relating to disabled people, which has the purpose or effect of violating a person's dignity or creating an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating or offensive environment. The parish council allowed Councillor Brackenbury's treatment of me to go unchecked.
Did you say anything about my knees?
You said you had got bad knees.
Yeah, do you know what you said?
I said
You said I couldn't care less about your knees. I think you're a wonderful person. I'd like to put that on the record.
Okay, right, thank you very much.
Next, yeah.
Anybody else?
Can I just make a quick point?
Yes, sir.
I believe I wasn't present.
No, you weren't. I don't think so.
I left and I apologise that you felt that way, Mrs. Elliott.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. Sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, members of the Parish Council. My name is Robert Phillips, and I am the applicant for the proposal to remove an existing single-storey utility room, carport and garage to subdivide the existing plot and create a new 3-bedroom end-of-terrace dwelling at 6 Barons Green, Shepreth. This revised application follows on from a previous application and appeal for a detached new dwelling at this site. There has been careful consideration given to this revised scheme to ensure that we take full account of the inspector's comments and sole reason for dismissing the appeal in respect to the proportions of the previously proposed dwelling. This proposal now links with 6 Barons Green to allow additional frontage to ensure the proportions of the proposed dwelling are fully in keeping with the street scene. There are 2 new off-street car parking spaces for the proposed new dwelling, and the parking for 6 Barons Green is now proposed outside the existing house, with 2 spaces provided. The parking arrangements will meet the council standards and there has been no objection from the Highway Authority. The site currently has planning permission for a 2-storey extension, which is an extant and implementable consent. However, the size of the plot is sufficient to accommodate a new dwelling within a similar footprint to that of the approved extension. The planning officer has visited the site and she has confirmed verbally that she does not see any planning reason to refuse the planning application. However, a manager has asked for some amendments to the internal layout, so the bathroom is located to the rear of the dwelling and the first floor window on the rear elevation is obscure glazed. They have also asked for the curb to be raised where it is currently depressed for the existing access, which we have agreed to. These amendments to the drawings have now been made and submitted to the District Council. I have copies of the amended drawings here with me tonight for you to review. In light of the amount of thought and careful consideration that has been given to this revised application, it is hoped that the Parish Council will offer no objection to these proposals as they have done previously. Thank you for allowing me the time to address you this evening.
Thank you, sir. Have you got a copy of those
Yes.
plans? Yes. Thank you.
Jim,
Okay. I've got them here.
Oh, you've got it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Comes up later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sir.
Has the parish council got any updates on the development on Phil Cutfield?
Unfortunately not. I left a few messages for Mr John Cush and sent emails, but I haven't heard anything, so I will update you as soon as I know anything.
Okay, thank you.
I think it was yesterday I left a voicemail and I sent emails, so
Okay,
I am waiting. to
thanks
hear
very much.
something. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? No? We all done? Excellent. Okay. Right. Ladies. Who wants to come first? Are you
Would
coming
you like
up
to stand
here?
near the radiator?
Shall I? It's very much a cameo appearance for me tonight, sadly.
Let me get out of your way.
I would much prefer to stay here than do lesson plans. Okay, changes to ward boundaries. Changes to ward boundaries are currently under review at South Cans. They will be considered by the Civic Affairs Committee. Actually, what is the date today?
As well.
The 12th. So they have been considered by the Civic Affairs Committee today and by full council on November the 26th. The council is required to reduce the number of district councillors from its current number to most likely 45, although this number has yet to be agreed. in time for all-out elections in 2018. So by all-out, I mean non-phased in the way that they have been until now, with wards coming up for re-election successively. So all the wards in South Cambs will be re-elected in 2018. The exercise in realigning wards requires villages to be grouped together to produce an aggregate number of 2,900 residents per ward. Now, the current plan under consideration groups Meldreth with Wadden, Orwell and Wimpole, and will continue to be a single member ward. Shepreth would go with Falmere, Hayden, the Chisels and Melbourne. That is a plan that has been worked up by a Conservative member of the council and is viewed by other political parties as being a somewhat political exercise. Although any of those configurations, we Lib Dems feel that we could still win. However, there are other pockets of the district where people don't feel that they've been treated fairly and are somewhat anomalous. Now, on a geographical basis, I think that this grouping is currently anomalous. And I have, together with actually a Tory councillor in Melbourne, Val Barrett, we have questioned the wisdom of this arrangement, and I have put in a suggestion that Meldreth and Shepreth should stay together. And be put with perhaps Wadden and Melbourne. That would result in a 2-member ward, but I would continue to go to Shepreth Parish Council.
Well, because it's the most enjoyable, isn't it?
It is, by far.
Out of all of them.
Out of my 2. I have pointed out that some consideration should be given to the sustainable means of transport between villages, which I mean by being able to cycle. I don't know why I'm looking at you, Cyril. Anyway, Meldreth Manor School, I think Susie's going to report more fully on this. I think people here are concerned and interested in the future for Meldreth Manor School. We understand that there is a plan that's being put forward, a business plan for taking over the running of the school to provide education and care for the same vulnerable people in the district and more widely. So I do hope that that proves to be workable. Maria, I didn't know if you knew about this inter-village cooperation on planning issues meeting on the 17th of November. I know that Susie is going to it. Is that still the case,
Yes.
Susie? Thank you. It's aimed at villages along the A10 corridor, so I strongly urge the PC to send a representative along. Last but not least, housing squeeze. The government announced a 1% reduction in council rents in the summer budget. I've already reported on this. We're now beginning to really get the figures on what an impact this is going to make on the house building budget. I think South Cambs is unusual in that it had a house building vision for this area. It's partly a realistic response to how difficult it is to find affordable housing in South Cambs. Anyway, the 1% reduction has resulted in a real terms £164 million hole in South Cambs' housing budget. The council is currently committed to completing 82 new homes, some of which have already started to be built. But after these are delivered, there's no certainty that new local authority housing in the district will be able to be financed. Local council leaders have met with Brandon Lewis, the housing minister, to press the case for a reconsideration of these measures as they impact South Cambs disproportionately to other district councils, given the pressures that we are on to build 19,000 new homes in this district before 2030. Okay. Any questions?
Can we see a cycle path coming between Shepreth and Meldreth?
I'd love to see one, Cyril.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Well, there's going to be lots of touring going.
There
People
will.
being the same.
Yes.
Susie, the new psychopath. Just for Cyril.
I'm tired from psychopaths.
We'll have Cyril's own psychopath.
Thank you, Philippa.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Philippa.
Susan, do you want me to leave the space available for you up here?
You guys don't have to stand for it. So that we feel we should.
They don't have to stand, they like to stand.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Nobody forces them
Right.
to.
No.
So I just wanted to note that I was on time this evening.
Yes, we'll
That
minute
was for
that.
Cyril, and I
Yeah.
cycled as fast as I could.
If you'd had a psychopath, you might have got here quicker.
I just, although it wasn't in my report, Sheila, I just thought I would explain what I think I probably said about the village hall is a suggestion to go and look at Melbourne Hub and how they have managed in a small space to deal with disabled access for upstairs, i.e. it isn't a lift, but Ruth and Val Sadler went to have a look, I think last week, so that's probably what I was referring to.
It wasn't what he said.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I have a new phone number, so I've got rid of my landline. I'm sorry, it wasn't supposed to end when it did, but it did. Right, I've just consolidated my many phone numbers. So, on to
So your phone number is now just your mobile number?
Yes.
On the website.
On the website, okay.
Just a few small things. First, I've had a letter from the post office. I don't know if you've had
Oh,
any.
yes, we have.
Okay, I'll leave it then. They're
Well, you ruin our phone.
I
You said that was a
didn't
good
bring
thing.
It is a good
I
thing.
think it was a good thing, that's what I think.
They're going to. No, I didn't bring them.
Go on, you do it.
I've got the letter. Yeah.
I didn't bring. Well, they're going. Okay.
Go.
There you go.
Okay, since the post office closed, there haven't been any applications to run a new post office in Shepreth. This is just the gist of it. But a home service is being proposed by the post office for the time being, which is really good. And the details are all here, and Maria has them. Is that okay? That's just the gist of it. It's to provide some of the basics for people who
can't get to a post office.
wouldn't be able to get to Mildred or Melbourne or wherever else. So that's good. But it does say
deliver it
that
direct to your door, it says, during
It's
the
a-
designated delivery stop. Yeah. I thought I might put the information.
Shall we put that up on the website?
The website.
Yeah.
I think that's a good
Yeah?
idea. I think we need to draw that to people's
And the
Okay.
news
attention.
centre as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing, that.
I've had a notice from somebody in Barrington Road that the superfast broadband service is not working there, and I hadn't been aware of that, so I've alerted the superfast broadband team at the County Council, and I've also asked for an update as to when the other areas of Shepreth that aren't currently served will be, including parts of Frog End, and we don't have an answer yet. I'm sorry to say, but I am chasing it, and if you know of any pockets in the village that are not being served, please do let me know, because the superfast broadband team wasn't aware that Barrington Road wasn't being served. It is outside of the village envelope, which may have been a factor. Collins Close, I think I've reported to you in the past that there's been a concern about actually, I'm glad the County Council team is here tonight, because so this is obviously a new development with a new play area, and it's a new environment where people live, whereas before it was an open field. And it's very close to the railway line. And the concern that Collins Close residents brought to me a long time ago, which I've been working on for a long time, is that it's possible to wander out of that play area through the little copse of trees, and then suddenly you're at the open rail line. There's a post and wire fence along the railway line, but that's all. It's no protection whatsoever. And you can't you can't leave your child to play in the play area because they can wander through the copse of trees. And the process for inquiring through Network Rail is very difficult. I should just say that to the camera. Although there are lots and lots of very nice people working for Network Rail, the bureaucracy is a nightmare. I'm sure it's a nightmare for them as well. So at last, this has been inspected by Network Rail. Nobody has spare money around, and everybody needs to follow rules and regulations. and there hasn't been any evidence of problems along this stretch, but they fully appreciate that this is a very serious concern. And they asked me if I had yet approached the housing association or the owner of the land adjacent, and that's why it's so useful that you all are here tonight. I'm sorry, because I would have warned you, but I only spoke to Network Rail today. So we do need to do something, and I don't think it's a big deal necessarily. There could be an easy solution, but we must do something. Now, you know, there is also the duty on us when we're aware of a vulnerable point like that to act, I think. So, may I ask if that copse of trees behind the Collins Close play area was transferred to the parish?
No.
No, it's still county council. Oh boy. Okay, so we will have to go away and look at that together, I think. I will.
I may touch on this then in
Okay.
when I speak in
Okay, so as an action, we are going to make sure we talk to each other to find out what the council could do for that strip of land. And I'm going to be telling Network Rail what we're going to do. Yeah? Okay, I'll leave that one there. Right. I don't want to say anything about the 810 cycle path.
Go on. I've been sitting there watching it today while I was driving
so you know
through.
it's progressing months ahead of schedule. It wasn't supposed to be done until the spring, but there's now a consultation on the work that would start in Harston in March. But this is of everyone's interest who uses the A10, and everyone is encouraged to fill out the survey and go to the public consultation event in Harston on November 30th from 6 to 8. There was one last night. So if you would like any more information, I will, please let me know and I'll send you the survey link and I'll put it in my report and send it to you.
Is there any news on those signs that we were talking about?
Yes, I asked about that.
Yeah.
The dual use signs, yes, they're aware and they will be signing it, and it will be part of a continuous route that needs signing, and basically it's an unfinished project.
Driving down the A10 the other day, overtaking a cyclist who was on the A10, not on the cycle path, to then go to Cambridge to be pushed out of the way on the pavements by the cyclist in Cambridge. I did notice on the new very expensive cycle path that you drive buses on as well in Cambridge.
You mean the guided bus?
Yes.
You're becoming very cynical after only 2 years of service.
No, it was only this week actually. No,
Silver's been training it.
No. Seriously, there were some green oval signs on the cycle path next to the guided bus that they're about this big and they're on the floor and they've got respect or something written on them, with a cycle and a pedestrian on the floor. Yeah. And they're quite new, I've not seen those before. Literally at the back of the train station. So, well, I thought with what was said last time about the
I think all roads and cycle paths should all be written with respect, respect, respect. Okay.
I don't know.
I'll feed that
I've
in
not
the
been
box.
out to actually have a look at them. I could see them from the train, but they looked. I could see them from the train, so they're quite good.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, keep feeding all the ideas in and we'll put them
I
on.
may be out of order. The intention originally was to build a BMX track in Collins Close, and if we built that, you could have had cyclists coming off it, going over the copse and landing on the railway. We have sufficient monies there, which we don't know what to spend on. Maybe we should consider repairing the fence if nobody else does it.
Thank you. That's
Good put it on the
a
agenda,
really,
that's
thank you very much. That's really helpful actually. Thanks.
As long as it's done.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And I told you about the Frog End Junction improvements, the date. I gave you the date last time.
January.
25th of January.
It's in the newsletter already. I
It's
think,
all
on the
been
website.
confirmed,
Yes.
yeah, okay. Right, then, I have had a meeting with Great Northern, the train company, and Mind in Cambridgeshire, who are running a Stop Suicide campaign, which you've probably heard about. I met them together to talk about some work that they're going to be doing in our area, including possibly at Mildred Station and possibly Shepreth and Foxton stations. And I did want to let people know this is very, obviously very important and very important work. And Great Northern actually has a suicide prevention officer who's very good, and it's good to put these two organizations together. There is an equivalent of something called mental health first aid training run by Mind and also run by the County Council, which is good to know about. This is there for the public to take part in, and I have information on how you can learn more. So that's that, and then I wanted to let you know that you will have heard about Adam Brooks being put in special measures.
Yeah.
The Care Quality Commission report was brought to the County Council Health Committee, and it was very interesting to hear the key reasons why Adam Brooks was put in special measures. And also I should hasten to say that children's care was rated as very good, and the overall care of patients was outstanding. But there are problems in staff recruitment, which are very widespread in the health, amongst social care and health providers. Affordable housing is a very big problem. Low earners trying to make do in this very expensive area is a serious problem. Trying to recruit from overseas, especially I think Spain and Portugal. I'm not sure why Spain and Portugal, but that migration issue actually is very important. And then some of you may have experienced the e-reporting filing system in the hospital, which was a bit of a disaster, but I think it's better now. Anyway, it's very interesting to hear about these problems, which are not unlike the problems faced at Mildred Manor, which is having staff recruitment and retention issues. Again, it's a very expensive place to live, and I think that is a real worry. And then last, I wasn't going to give a report on Mildred Manor beyond what Philip has said, except to say that I went to visit the Granta School in Linton, which is the County Council run special school. So if you, Mildred Manor is independent, and it's not, the placements are not automatically provided by the County Council. It's more expensive, and that's one reason why the County Council hasn't been placing children there for a long time. So it was very instructive to go and see the Granta School, which is very different because all types of special needs are accommodated under one roof. So it's a very, it's quite a complex system, and very impressive staff, and children travelling a very long distance to get there. I think there were some children from Ely, if I remember correctly, going all the way to Linton, travelling to school every day. So that was a useful comparison, get some more perspective. So I think that's everything.
Susan, just a quick one. 22 years ago I moved into this village. My daughter's special needs. Cambridge has always been the same in my eyes. They've got no facilities for special needs children. My daughter had to stop at Cairn in Wiltshire and travel backwards and forwards. Jackie, my oldest son at the moment, he's special needs. And the only place that we'd managed through to get him into was Foxton, which they've changed all that round now.
Oh, right,
And
I
the
didn't
different
mention
things.
that.
So that's, I think, Cambridgeshire, in my eyes, my opinion, has never grasped the special needs thing for children. That's why I think you've got so many children travelling out of county, into county, and all over. I mean, they've got, Foxton's got 3 schools. One's in Harlow, one's the other side of Ely, one's in Foxton, and they're all run by one man. So you've got children coming from the Hertfordshire to Bedfordshire in the area to them 3 schools. So this is why I think that scope should be kept open.
Firstly, I'm not by any stretch any kind of expert
Just
in
I've
this
just went
area,
through it.
but
I went through it twice with both
yeah,
my children.
yeah. I could have also mentioned that Trinity School, Foxton, is going through a consultation. It will most likely
I know.
be amalgamated, i.e. closed, in favour of school and everything being situated in St. Neots for our area. But yeah, it's very, very difficult, and the worst thing about budget cuts, if I may say, is getting a closer view of how it affects children or people in that situation, because it's hard enough already, and the funds really are disappearing.
Fast.
Yeah. I wish they could keep it open, but it's not up to anybody but scope. And I hope this other proposal turns out to be something that
So excuse me, is the, when the double yellow lines are done, is that the same time as they're going to do close the slip road? Or is that?
I asked about that. They,
Double line should have been done last week, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
The
she
weather
emailed
was
me.
I know,
incredible.
sort of yesterday I see
She said it's maybe this week.
sort of three council people looking at the slip road.
oh right,
That
they're
almost
probably not three council looking people with paint.
That
No,
comes out,
no,
that
no.
comes out this morning when I went to the doctor to get the injection. That comes out this morning.
I
It
could
goes
see
to
him
slip
standing
road.
there.
Coming from Cambridge.
I did ask. The slip road work wouldn't start till March.
That's what you said.
Yeah, yeah. So at least we'll get the lines in quicker.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions of Philippa or Susan while they're here before Philippa dashes off to do some lesson planning?
Yeah, I'm going to save the next thing,
Okay.
but you're welcome to ask me some questions.
Okay, thank you. Right, 616, this is potential house... No,
Oh, not the
615,
next. Oh,
I've just
not
done. Oh, I do apologise. I do apologise.
I didn't mean the next thing, I meant the thing after that.
615, this is Village Hall and Rec Warden. Douglas, do you have a report from the Village Hall?
Yes,
Looking lovely.
several points.
Okay.
The refurbishment is nearly finished. The curtains have still got to be put up, but that's in hand. There's a likelihood we're going to get a donation from an organisation, which may be talked about later, so we'll have some more funds from that. Now, another interesting point is this room now is clear, and I've written to Margaret Collins, but it applies to anybody else who's here. If they've got any pictures, photographs, interesting things to put on the wall, the Village Hall will frame them and make it look prettier. And I think that's a good idea. So bear that in mind.
To go with your freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech, which I bought because of all the problems I had with Shepreth Parish Council when it was common practice not to allow people to speak.
Indeed it was. Mm.
And that's a memento to that era.
Should have a date on it.
I can't afford it.
43.
Okay, thanks Douglas.
Yeah, I think that's
James.
I've been incapacitated and my son checked the open spaces of there because I couldn't,
Oh, I should have said.
and it's minimum rubbish, nothing to worry about.
Good.
It's all up and tidy.
I think it's looked good all this summer, don't you?
Yeah, it's, you mean, like I said, the old school field, and you mean, I'd like to give them a medal up there because they keep it, you mean, they keep it spot on. The Collins Close is still a hump on my back, but you mean, the rent is, they're picking the rubbish up, the tree's gone now, it's looking really good.
Excellent.
Can
And-
I just add to that?
Yes.
I did a rec check on last Sunday after the service at the War Memorial, and I noticed the bin inside Collins Close, the lid is broken.
Oh, I know. It's been all the new bins.
Oh,
There's new bins
is that the
coming.
new one that's in there that's
No.
already broken?
No,
No.
we're going
The
to
old
ordering
one.
They're the old one.
Cute. I thought,
two
oh,
larger bins that
Yeah.
are going to be a lot
The bins,
The rubbish bin
as
is
soon as you
They're
lift the
not
lid up,
very consigned,
it
yeah.
smashes against the post and it just breaks off.
They're on their way.
The dog sign on one of the
I know
gates is
someone's ripped
nearly
it
off.
off again.
Yeah.
I put two new ones up and it's been
I
taken
know,
off again.
I know. And I walked round the this wreck on that Sunday while they were playing football, picked up all the rubbish that was was not on the football pitch itself. And then I checked back later after the football and just found 3 empty bottles, so I didn't think that was too bad.
Which isn't
better than it used to be.
No, so.
Could I put, I don't know, might be not in it, but the open spaces, I don't know, a lot of people know, watch your cars, watch your vans, there's number plates going missing. We've had one broke into in the village, a van was broke into the village in John Bray Close, there's number plates going missing in Melbourne and Warden, and there's about 4 vans and 3 cars being broken into in the last 72 hours, and also I believe the corpse being done in Melbourne.
Yeah, for cigarettes.
Yeah, I've heard they've got a key that opens all Ford vans. So if you've got a Ford van, take your tools out.
I have. My son-in-law's van that was taken in Collins Court.
Okay.
All his tools went out the other night, but right outside he's got by his ex-partner's house.
Okay.
Was it a Ford?
There you go. Okay, thanks Jimmy, thanks Douglas. Sorry, I'll now go back, 616. This is potential housing development, Melbrith Road, Shepreth. We have a collection of people from the council. Delegation.
Yeah.
Who are going to speak to us on the matter. So I don't know who's going to say what, where, when and how, but whoever wants to start, if you want
Well, I'm happy to start, and then I'll be joined by Sarah Lyons from the forming HDA, and then we have Nick Green from the architectural practice Saunders Boston.
Okay, so you're Stephen?
I'm Stephen Conrad, yes.
So fire ahead, sir.
I work in the strategic assets team at the County Council, and just by way of background, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of this, but the County Council's financial position is increasingly difficult. We've cut something in the order of 100 million over the last 5 years. We still have another 100 million odd to cut in the coming years from a budget of around 500 million. So the pressures on the County Council are enormous. And one of the ways in which the County Council is responding to that is it is focusing more now on development opportunities than it has done historically. And particularly because we already have a significant income stream from our county farms estate. We own 14,000 hectares of land, which are generating farm rents for us. But obviously there are other opportunities to create rents for the County Council, and one of those areas is market housing. And in the last 2 years, there's been a very significant change in the desired approach to how we would deal with any land that had development potential. Historically, we've often entered into option agreements with developers or land promoters. Now I know these are technical terms, but essentially what that did was allow the land promoter or the developer to spend the money on the planning application at their risk, and if they were successful, they were then allowed to buy the land from the County Council, and they got a discount as a reward for their success. Our members are now not keen for us to continue with that kind of approach because they're more interested in the County Council becoming a developer. And we have just submitted our first application of 350 homes at Burwell, where I've been working with the Parish Council for probably more than 3 years through the entire local plan process. And we will be building new housing, market housing to rent there, as well as possibly retaining the affordable housing stock as well. So moving down in scale completely, because that's our first project really. But we have a number of sites across the county, as you can appreciate, with such a large farms estate. And one of the parcels we have that I think it's true to say that I've been with the County Council longer than I'll actually specify, but I've long enough to know that I've been involved in both the other parcels fronting Melbrith Road. And I think it's true to say that certainly from the County Council's point of view, there was always the thinking that at some point in the future, the final parcel of land that's left, following the disposal to BPHA for Collins Close, that would at some point come forward. The current position is that the South Cambridge District Council local plan has provided the County Council with a potential window of opportunity. You may or may not know that there are developers in a number of locations throughout South Cambridgeshire promoting land and doing so on an argument essentially about the fact that the district hasn't managed to deliver the number of houses that its local plan talked about. So essentially where the County Council are at the moment is the County Council would like to take forward a scheme for that, what I'd call the third parcel, fronting Meldeth Road, Shepreth. And it's really that parcel of land which is not providing any farm income from us, because obviously as farming land goes, it's an awkward shape, it's difficult to manage when you're driving over an estate road to a housing estate, and so effectively the land is lying idle at the moment. And I remember before Collins Close we had fly tipping issues out there, that kind of thing. So as far as the County Council is concerned, it is keen to pursue a market housing scheme on that parcel. And when I say market housing, I mean all market housing schemes have an element of affordable when they're of a specific size. So essentially, what I've come here tonight to raise with you is the question of the County Council desiring to bring this land forward during this window of opportunity, which is essentially now. And it's a service site, effectively, in that when Collins Close was designed, it was designed with a road taken to the boundary of that third parcel. So in terms of development, it is quite an easy site in terms of actually delivering a scheme on it. And the County Council haven't sold, they did sell the tree belt behind John Bray Close, but when we sold the land to BPHA, we didn't part with the strip that runs along the railway, nor indeed against, I've forgotten the commercial premises that run down the eastern side, but there's trees down there that we own as well. Grant Instruments, that's it, yeah. So effectively, there's something of the order of an acre of land there, and those trees were planted 15 to 20 years ago, roughly. And as part of any scheme, if this scheme goes ahead, the County Council would very much like to explore that whole area being part of the wider amenity area for those developments. And in the same way that we made land available for the play area, or we were willing to make land available for the BMX area, I'm sorry to say that the thing took so long that all the people who were interested in it grew up or moved away, I think I'm right in saying. But hopefully a project on this plot would move a great deal quicker, because circumstances are very different. It's not an exception site, which is often more challenging in planning terms. So I think probably I've said I'm very happy to deal with questions, and you may want to just hear my two colleagues as well, and then ask questions at the end, or if you've got particular questions for me first, I'm very happy to deal with those.
No, well, do you want to carry on then, do some questions if we got some? Yeah? Yeah.
My name's Sarah Lyons, and I am part of the newly formed Housing Development Agency company, which is being set up by South Cambs and Cambridge City, who, and this is an approach we're taking via the Cambridge City deal process. The world has significantly shifted for us in the housing world, and especially in the affordable housing world, which has been my background for the last years. And the councillors were both right in saying that the 1% budget cut has significantly reduced both local authorities' ability to provide homes moving into the future, whether they be of varying types of tenure for affordable housing. And the 1% rent cut is actually a bit more than that. It is actually, we're not allowed to increase the rent generally by 1 to 2% a year. So
actually the decrease each year is around about 3%. If you add that up, it's about 12 to 15% over the 4-year period, which is where we've got the £100 million odd budget hole in our 30-year business plan. So the HDA's role is to facilitate and to assist our county colleagues with bringing some of their sites forward for housing, and we will be providing development agency services for them, guiding them through the planning process, because we have those skills within house. I'm also working on some very small projects that we have continuing for South Cambs, of developing affordable homes, and I've got colleagues in Cambridge City doing the same thing. So my role is to assist the county and take projects forward, guide them through the process, get on site and project manage with them. So that's my role.
Sir, your role.
I'm going to stand.
Oh, your role with the plans.
I've got some drawings.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and pop them on so everyone can see them. I might have to hold one.
You want me to hold one?
There we go. Okay. So, my name's Nick Green. I'm from Thomas Boston. We're the architects for the scheme. We've been working with Sarah and South Cambs for quite a long time now, doing lots of work. I'll just talk you through what we've got. So the stage we're at the moment with the scheme is that we've done a feasibility study, we've looked at what we can do with the site, we've understood the site, and we've had some initial discussions with the Planning Authority and South Cambridge District Council. So we've had what we call a pre-app, so pre-application discussions with people coming back with some comments. We've got further to go down that process. We're kind of at the very beginning of that really. There's more detail we need to add in, but to get a kind of initial view on where we are, we've done that. So if I just talk around what we've got, look at the site plan first of all. Meldeth Road is just disappearing off down here. The Collins Close development is here. The play area is just dropped off the bottom there. And the railway lines are coming across the top. This is the industrial area. So the road from Collins Close obviously already exists. It was built, I would imagine, with a view to it extending. So the sensible thing is to extend the road across. At the back of the site, there's a railway line and there's potential problems with noise and vibration as a result of the railway line. We're doing work on that. There'll be a noise survey undertaken, which will be needed for the planning application. But the sensible thing to do from the kind of laying out of a site thing in that area is to pull houses away from it so that you've got a kind of buffer zone. The trees are there at the moment, they may well be thinned out or bolstered. It depends on what the acoustic survey says, and there may well be a more substantial, we've heard about the boundary already, but a more substantial acoustic boundary. It all depends on what we need to do. So as you come in, road all the way up, all the way around, and ends in a turning head at the top. This is primarily a private development, private sale development, rather than affordable. However, policy requires that you have 40% affordable houses on the site. Of sites more than 2. This is clearly more than 2, so we've got 40% affordable houses. We've got a total of 25, so 10%, 10 affordable and 15 private sale. The mix is defined by the local need, which South Cambs are aware of, and they monitor it continuously. And generally at the moment, affordable, that's small houses, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom type houses. The rest of the site is again defined by policy. So South Cambridgeshire have a planning policy where they say that there needs to be a mix of house sizes across the site, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom and 4 bedroom plus. So we've got a mixture of a couple of 2 bedroom private houses, the bulk of them 3 bedroom and then a few 4 bedroom. So these little ones here are the 4 bedroom ones, and then these are pairs of 3 bedroom. As we get down to the end of the site, so this is the bit again that we heard about a little bit earlier, so this is owned still by the County Council, it wasn't transferred when BPHA did their exception site. That's not really suitable to put houses on because of the proximities of existing houses. And the intention around here is to create some kind of link to the play area existing and some kind of different kind of open space. That's still really developing at the moment, but we've got some trees there, we've got kind of opportunities for maybe doing something a bit more kind of ecology based, some encouraging some biodiversity, that kind of thing. And maybe, you know, it's kind of, we've notionally called it a kind of woodland walk, which is a bit grand, but kind of something along those kind of lines. And then we're welcome to hear some, if anyone's got any opinions on what that might be, we'd be helping to. At the moment it's just a green thing with a path through it, so it could be anything. We're welcome to hear some ideas if anyone's got anything. The other sheet we've got just gives you a kind of idea. As I said, we're very early on. We haven't done a huge amount of work on what they look like yet, but it gives you a kind of idea of what it might look like in terms of the scale. They're all two-storey, pitched roof, following the kind of context of this part of the village, which is generally quite simple brick pitched roofs, relatively steep pitches, maybe a few chimneys here and there, depends on how they can be used, and kind of high quality external materials, bit of landscaping, what we call threshold space at the front of houses, so you get a little bit of front garden, you get maybe some trees in, some kind of native planting, that kind of thing, and then dissolving into what we call shared surfaces, so it's where you have a wider roadway which you can walk on and drive at the same time. That's a very quick overview of what we've got. As I say, it's developing at the moment, and there's more to come, definitely, but hopefully it gives you a kind of idea of where we're going with it and what it's kind of starting to look like.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, young man.
Yes. I'm not going away, sorry.
No, you're not. Do you still intend to use the entrance off of Meldreth Road?
This one here, yes.
Hang on a minute. The entrance that's there now.
Oh, you mean there's a gate, isn't there?
Yes.
Yes. No, we're not intending to use that.
So that everybody who lives there is going to get in and out via Collins Close.
Yes.
And that's very congested in there, if you've ever been in there.
We have had some very initial conversations.
That's a very difficult spot to get a dozen cars out in the morning and back again and so on, with children playing about. There's always lots of children in there. I can't understand why you don't leave the gate where it is. So after people could come out on they're going to come out on Meldreth Road.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. We have had some very initial conversations with the County Council Highways engineer to deal with the highways. They were keen that we didn't introduce an extra access onto Meldreth Road because of to do with highway safety. We've got further work to do on that, and we'll be having further discussions with them. But they were very keen that we use this existing access point.
Sorry. Do you mean the gate?
There's a gate in here. There's a gate
No,
in here.
no,
No,
okay.
There's a gate there.
It's okay.
Susan, about halfway along that green piece, the gate
There's
is
a
there.
gate there.
No,
on the road.
We've seen you've got a few.
Okay.
On the road.
Where? There.
It's right about there.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
correct?
it's
Between those two houses.
Okay.
Right, okay, thank you very much.
Could I possibly make one more point?
Certainly, sir.
Just picking up on something that Nick said about private sale. Just going back to what I was saying, the County Council hasn't determined the split yet, but it is very much focusing on holding those houses long term, depending on market conditions, and therefore it would be a landlord of private rental stock, which is different to obviously all those houses being sold, even if the County Council was the developer.
Because the County Council are also buying second-hand stock, aren't they?
No, the County Council isn't. I don't know.
South Cambridgeshire District Council has set up a housing company
They have,
which,
Are buying second-hand stock.
which has got approval to continue today. It was a pilot project. It's called Ermine Street, and yes, it has been buying up housing across the district and in other parts of the area to also help plug some of the financial gap that is planning to sell things.
I've got one quick question, you probably can't answer it.
24.
It'll be run by a private company to rent the houses out. It won't be run by the district or the council to rent their houses out.
I'm going to. We are newly formed as the HDA, and our relationship with the county is relatively new in terms of how we progress those things, and those discussions are still ongoing.
Well, the question I was going to ask was, because there's houses to be affordable rent, would Shepreth personnel get a chance to rent them before they go out?
Are you talking about the affordable or the market?
The affordable rent.
I had discussions with the enabling team today, and they did actually confirm, although this would not be classed as an exception site because it's coming in through the 5-year land supply process, there would be no issue with actually applying the exception site policy on first lets for Shepreth people.
Because there was a few people in...
No, I completely, and I had that conversation with my counterparts who sit on enabling, who would respond on the planning application, that if this was to come through, how would they feel, because I knew this would be an issue that would be picked up by yourselves, and they don't have a problem with that.
When do you think the planning application will be submitted?
There's still quite a lot for us to do. We need to look at the finances and run through the modelling and have all those, get those signed off. We want to look at submitting a planning application as soon as we can, really. But again, it all depends on how you, as the parish council, feel about things, because we want the process to run as smooth as possible for us all. So there are still some steps for us to take, but we wanted to bring it so that it didn't come at you guys out of the blue.
Okay. Richard, sorry.
So when will we be next be talking to you?
Yeah. Well, I know you've got a big agenda, and I did offer Marie if you needed a special meeting just to discuss this, because we could spend all night really.
Yeah. Yes.
If you felt that was appropriate, we would be more than happy to come back and just discuss this as an item.
At a public meeting.
At a public meeting, yes.
Which we can advertise within the village is going to take place.
Yeah.
The kind of next step for us is we need to do some work on the site. We need to do some surveys.
Yeah.
So they'll start appearing.
Okay.
You'll see that we're doing stuff, and then once we've done that, we can then build some more information into what we've done, and then we can come back to you with something that's kind of a bit more than this.
Having experienced a planning application recently, I think it would be a good idea that we had a separate meeting, which is a public meeting that we can make the village aware of.
Yes, definitely.
So they could come along and have a look. Douglas.
Yeah, a few points. One a bit flippant. You've got all these farms. Are they sort of descended straight from Henry VIII? I mean, why did the county council end up with all that land?
No, most of it was acquired sort of from 1914 onwards, and actually it was a very socially orientated programme, because people returning from First World War, and indeed Second World War, there was an expectation that they deserved the opportunity to have land be able to grow a small holding. It was literally a few acres. And the county council was deemed to be a good social landlord, effectively. So our estate really grew quite
But they had the
significantly.
money to buy it.
We used either compulsory powers or we bought by agreement.
Okay.
But we haven't
you
been
didn't
buying
own it
land.
prior to that?
Sorry?
You didn't own it
No,
prior to that?
no.
That's interesting. The other comment I would make is, have you got any land the other side of the railway?
I think we have in a farm. We've got a farm.
I mean, the reason I say this is that if one stands back and looks at South Cambs, they've obviously got a housing problem. But building houses all over the place, if they don't have infrastructure, is not very bright. Shepreth has a station and a community, and it could do with more community assets, but there are very few houses at the other side of the railway. It's very lopsided. So if you build a lot of houses the other side, I'm not saying this is a bad idea, I think it's a good idea, but I think if I was in charge, which I'm not, I'd be looking at Shepreth in a bigger picture and saying, this is where you could put a lot of houses because you've got a station, and you could have the community assets there as well.
Any questions back on this one though, ladies and gents, or are we happy for these guys to?
You're right, Johnny, we need to have a
separate meeting. Go away and formulate ideas and keep us informed, and then we can organise a separate meeting which we can involve and publicise more in the village, so people can come along. But I mean, if you wanted a round robin, just as a, you know, in principle. Douglas, your thoughts?
I've already said my opinion.
Richard? Jimmy?
I'm thinking about the throat. The amount of cars that's been coming out of there.
Ruth? Yeah, Cyril? So we generally seem to have a bit of support around the table.
Thank you.
If that's what you guys want.
Thank you.
Very useful to know. Yes.
What's in it for us?
Yeah.
Affordable housing.
Well, we get a mixed development of housing, of which the
I know there's housing in it for
the
us.
county are going to be the land.
But obviously the village would like to see some benefit from
106.
106.
There will be that whole process to go through, the 106 process. We are, how should I say, the same rules apply to us as they would.
Sorry to be mercenary.
Yeah, developers are tight, you know.
Yeah.
Same
Susan, sorry.
Developers.
Yeah,
Well, it's just
taxpayers'
interesting.
money.
It's just interesting in the last couple of years as the budgets have started to fall. I think it was about 2 years ago that these discussions about councils becoming landlords took place, and it's the whole idea of charging for services so that to keep finances in better shape. So it's it's not theirs, it's ours. That's how I look at it. This is our land, these are our financial problems, and these are our ideas.
Absolutely.
I mean, Philip and I sit there in those meetings, and we councillors have to
come up with
help
And it's
this process along.
our parish council, and we're trying to fill our coffers as well.
We're all in it together.
Absolutely. No problem. Okay, we're going to push on then, if that's okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if we work things through,
Yeah.
And sometime maybe in the new year.
Yeah. If you liaise with my lovely glamorous assistant.
Yeah.
If you give us advance warning, at least sort of 2 or 3 weeks, so that we can.
Oh God, yeah. No, I would need to.
I think we would like to get it out to the village very much because I mean we did everything right on a previous planning application, but some people still won't have it.
No.
Is this a major development?
Yeah, is it a major?
It will be considered as a major.
Yes, absolutely.
Very important.
No. Okay, well maybe we'll go for the end of January, let everybody get over Christmas.
Yeah, end of January.
Yeah, okay. We'll put something for you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're free to go.
Yeah,
You say, Susan?
I can't see the whole time, but I see that you have made.
Should leave
there.
Yeah.
So I'll stay
Made forward.
Okay.
Can you not
That's
leave
fine.
them backs here? So that's to the village, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll do a frame by next month.
Yeah, they'll be up on the wall.
They'll be on the wall as they.
Thank you very much. Okay. Right, 617, moving on, because we're going to run short of time.
Thank you.
Finance payments. These are the payments, they've just got to there. So we've got clerk's salary this month, £439.76p, and rec cut, old school field, war memorial clearing up, Collins Close, dead trees on the rec, Mengate on the football pitch. This is Hearts and Cabs, £595. Do I have a proposer and a seconder for those two, please? Cyril's proposing, Douglas or Richard is seconding. So those in favour of those payments? Those against, that's fine. Thank you very much. Okay. Planning application. This is 6 Barons Green. You've all seen the plans. There have been some amended plans. I took some advice today from South Cams, because these plans that we've been looking at are not, they've been resubmitted, haven't they? Some amendments on the plans from the plans we've had. I've had a note from them which I sent round to you all. You all had an email. Following the telephone conversation, I advised the parish council to comment on both the plans we've sent you. I think your planning officer, Linda Praven, is away or something?
Yes, she's away. She's back.
And she would have to decide as to whether it would go back to reconsultation with regard to the amendments. So what they've asked us to do is comment on both sets of plans. So you've seen one set.
Set in the circulation folder.
Yeah, you've seen the set in the circulation folder. This is the amended set. The amendments are the bathroom moving to the back, is that correct?
Yes, and an obscure glazed window for the bathroom.
Right.
And also the reinstatement of the curb.
Right.
Footprint's the same.
The footprint's exactly the same.
It's just internal changes.
Right.
So you're talking internal changes with the bathroom moving to the back from the plans that you saw. This is Barons Green. This is the existing house. Okay, and we're tagging one on the side of it there.
What is this then?
What's what? Car parking spaces.
Oh, I see.
Car parking spaces, better.
Yeah.
2 cars.
Yeah, and 2 car parking spaces there for the new one. Does that make sense? So we're talking the bathroom at the back with an obscure window. Sorry, what was the other?
It's just a reinstatement of the curb on the Barons.
Reinstatement of the curb. Okay, that's fine. Right, ladies and gentlemen, open to the floor for comments. Richard.
Well, just the reinstatement of the curb means you've got 2 different driveways, is that right? That's to properly identify 2
driveways and reinstatement of the existing one.
Yeah. Okay. But from from way back when, this is the same footprint, like you say, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay. And we didn't object to it last
We
time.
didn't object to the other one, but the planner did, and then it went to appeal, and it got thrown out on appeal as well, didn't it?
It just got thrown out on the proportions of the dwelling,
Yeah.
so
Are there any objections from other residents?
Yes, we have.
We've
Yeah, we've
received
had
one
one
objection.
objection from
Yeah.
a resident in Barons Green,
Residents,
and the gist of their objection was vehicular activity. Pedestrian usage is high, with at least 2 mobility scooters. Clear pathways are vital. Basically, parking problems in Barons Green, and the closeness of the proposed dwelling to 7A Barons Green, which already has a small garden, will be completely overshadowed if the new application is passed. This is an objection that's also been sent to the planning officer.
Is this number 7?
No, that's just there. Those 2 car parking spaces are in here.
Yeah.
That's number 7 there.
That's what I mean. So that's
7A.
why-
7A.
Yeah, so you've got this little tiny gap here then.
What's the gap between the buildings?
That can't be.
The gap between the buildings is virtually exactly the same as it is now.
Yeah, I just wondered how many feet, metres.
with the previous application we did a sun study and it showed that there was hardly any impact on the...
Well, that's a different question. I just wonder what the meterage was.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not design.
Okay.
Right. If you look at the garage at this moment in time, there's about 2.5 metres from the garage to the fence. I measured it. I went round the other day with a tape measure. I just paced out because I wanted to have a look at the maps, and I went round
Right.
and to make it look close to the neighbouring property, and also before I'd seen the amendments, that where the bathroom was.
But there's permission for the building, a building there already.
There's already permission for an
So
extension.
the wall is not going to be going no nearer in the next door property, is it?
No, just slightly on the second, on the first floor. But
Slightly nearer on the second floor, you pushed it out a bit.
yeah, because it.
Right. So it's going to overshadow a bit more than the previous.
But it's not because of the way the sun is.
Well, the sun, they may feel that they're overshadowed, whether it's sunny or dark. What planning issues are there that we can decide upon? Because I think last time I said I don't really know, I'm going to leave it to South Cams, because obviously what the neighbour doesn't like it, this gentleman wants it. And we can't say, oh well, I like him, I don't like him, for whatever reason. And
Well, I think
it meets standards, and
I mean, there are 4 parking spaces there, and that is a big problem in Barons Green.
I think what you were saying is you've satisfied the objections on the reasons for objections on the previous applications. Is that
yes.
correct?
The sole reason for the dismissal of the appeal was the proportions of the proposed frontage, which we've amended by creating the terrace form, which is a form of development which is
previously detached. Is it?
Yeah, I think I'm in favour.
Ruth,
I don't think we've got anything we can turn it down on.
Jimmy,
Dot the I's and cross the T's.
Mr. Kenzie.
Well, it's, I don't see, I mean, almost every other house around Barons Green is been extended somewhere over the years.
Well, 7 has been extended to presumably 7.
I mean, parking is a massive problem at Barons Green, you know, but you've got the 2 parking spaces there, but it still is a... Well, you've got the 2 for the new dwelling,
Yeah.
but it still is a massive problem around there. They're double parked, they're up the curbs, they're everywhere.
They are, and lots of children play in this bit here, because there's several here and there's several over there, over the next bit, you know. There's always kids running about there.
Okay, well, I think what we'll do is, if everybody had their say, we'll put it to the vote, yeah? So, those in favour? Those against? Okay. Now, hold on a minute. That was in favour of the amended plans. I also have to do it again on those in favour of the original plans.
Can you tell me the logic of this?
I'm telling you what I've been instructed to do by the planning officer, and I'm making sure I get it right before somebody So that was the amended plans. So the original plans there again, I've got to put it to the vote. Has anybody got any objections to the original plans?
Because the second one was better.
Those in favour of the original plans?
I remember being the first time.
Those against?
So
Okay,
six in
fine. Right, we've done
favour,
exactly what we've been asked to do. Thank you, sir.
Sign here,
Thank you very
please.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now sign
That'll get sent off tomorrow.
your form.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
evening.
sir.
Thank you, members.
He's not staying on.
Are you not really
You get to go home.
I'm all right, Jack, take the ladder.
Yeah.
Okay, clerk's report. I think actually, Maria, you covered a lot of this
Yeah,
in
I've
your,
done it all,
because
yeah,
we
you
had
can take
Collins Close, the sign, Rosper with Jimmy, the phone box, the double yellows were covered, and obviously the camcorder, which
Yeah, it's
we
all the usual
know about.
admin, meeting agendas, etc.
Has anybody got any questions of the clerk?
What are you talking about, the phone box?
No, we just covered it, we're saying that we're almost there sorting the light out on the
Yeah.
phone box, yeah.
Good,
He's
that'd
always
be
on
nice.
Okay. Right, we'll move on in that case. 420 car park lighting. You've had some estimates. This is for the Village Hall car park.
Yeah.
Far away, Maria.
I had an estimate from an electrician with regards to putting in lighting at the car parks. You know, on the boundary, as you look at the car park from here on the left side, putting some sort of light sort of halfway down. You'd have to lay the electricity from the village hall. No, on the green. No, well, I'm going the wrong way. It's there. Yes.
Oh, it's the drive on the left-hand side.
It's here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the car park. So this bit here.
Yeah.
Putting some lighting there, and I circulated the email as a kind of a starting point, and he said he could fit also fit some more floodlights as well. The initial estimate is about 940 and 1,000 for the sensor, or 1,000 for a sensor method. So it depends if you want a timer or a sensor. But this is just an idea in principle, because obviously we need to get more detailed quotes. Is it something you want me to pursue, or there's not many electricians that seem to want to quote either. I've contacted quite a few and they kind of don't reply.
Would that be on a post?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it would. Would you like to read it?
No. I mean, I don't know
Yes.
who's holding it. Is it
Yeah.
Yes,
It'll
yeah.
be up high
Yeah,
on
be
the
up high,
post.
yeah.
Where's it going to be powered from?
Yeah.
Well,
From
Village Hall.
Oh.
Yeah, from the village hall.
Have you asked them?
Not
No,
yet.
not yet. No, this is just.
This is just in principle.
principle.
I mean, what I think
It came up last year. From somebody.
this came up. I think this was Teresa that brought this up,
Yeah.
and it got a bit with sort of CCTV cameras and everything that was sort of suggested at the time.
It's not anti-social behaviour. We've got a light now in the sensor, and when it pops up, people just go elsewhere.
Yeah.
We're only going to just bounce around.
So is this something, I mean, we've only been able to, the problem we've got is every time we mention we're a parish council, anybody, contractors...
It might not be that,
well, I think
they're too busy.
no, neither can I. They don't tend to want to get involved. We'd have to get 3 quotations for this. So what we're saying here is, do you want Maria to continue pursuing this?
Yes.
Yes.
You do?
And would anyone like to give any names, put any names forward for electricians?
Yeah. Has
The
anybody got...
electrician who advertises in the local rag.
This is him, I think.
Oh, it's him.
This is
Well,
Jeremy.
can't ask him.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
this
like
is him.
you too.
Yeah, this is him. Yeah.
If anybody's
And
got...
he's also sorting out the light at the phone box,
Telephone.
hopefully. He's been very helpful.
Well,
If anybody's got... Sorry.
There's an electrician that lives in just up the road here.
Is there? Oh, could you tell me his name?
Can you give him his name?
Later, yeah.
Lives in Doctor's, no, what's that called up there?
But some of them are not always necessarily qualified for this type of job.
It's all
depends.
painted dead.
It's been advertised.
Yeah. Okay, that'd be good.
Okay.
Let
Lives
me
in
give
the
me the
very
name.
first house, as you tell me.
isn't it?
With the blue van, that's it,
It
Richard.
probably is.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right,
When
we'll-
you go past, you'll see it's the first house on the right.
Okay.
Okay, well we'll pursue that then,
Pursue
and
it
if
then.
anybody's...
Just get 3 quotes, 2 more quotes.
If anybody's got any other electricians they could let Maria have the details of, that would be
Yeah.
great, because we need another couple of quotes on that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll carry on pursuing that. So 621, summer fair account. Douglas, do you want to do this one?
well, there are several things on the summer fair. We're not having one next year.
Oh,
I thought you weren't there. Oh, you were on holiday.
Oh, you were.
Well, it was put to the vote,
oh,
and
fine.
we were having a rest, and we thought a street party and an
Oh.
ease up in the village hall, and maybe some food.
Is that to coincide with the Queen's
It
birthday?
is
or
indeed.
that something
It
else?
is indeed.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
As far as the account is concerned, the Plough's paid the money it said it was going to do, and I think there's another, 30 odd quid to come in from the WI, so there'll be an 8,500 roughly. At the same meeting, partly because it's now been 5 years, partly because we're having a rest, it was considered that we should spend the money, and there was a vote on this, and of the 8,500, 7,000 was suggested and voted on that the money should be given to the village hall.
I think I'll just point out that the £3,000 that the Summer Fair Committee allocated towards playground equipment, which was done on the understanding that when the parish council replaced the playground equipment, the Summer Fair would chip in.
Well,
I think the Summer Fair are going to write the parish council saying that we've given you 3 years, whatever it is, it's not happened.
yeah, I mean,
So
I
we
did
want to spend the money.
push the playground
Absolutely,
equipment,
yeah,
and
and it was
the feeling of
yeah.
the meeting was by giving it to the village hall,
Yep.
it benefits more in the village.
Yep. So I think they voted to give you 7,000, or give the village hall £7,000.
Yeah.
Which is, and I think that was a unanimous vote, and it was a unanimous vote not to hold a Summer Fair next year.
Yep.
With all the people there.
Yep.
I think the thing about the Summer Fair, it is an awful lot of hard work. You've got a lot on this year, and it's the same people every year, and
3 day,
you know,
3 days hard labour.
it's 3
And
days
I think
massive
it's
hard
important
labour.
to do something with the money.
Yeah, but I think a street party and all that sort of thing
Will be easier.
will be easier. Any questions?
Where's the street party going to be?
Angle Lane probably, because we don't have to close it off, you don't have to get it closed. So it's a lot easier.
Or any other suggestion.
Or any other
We didn't
suggestion.
actually decide.
Yeah, nobody's decided, so anybody that wants to chip in with a suggestion as to where they want it to be, then chip in and then help organise. Brilliant. Okay, 622, Christmas tree and lights. Are we going to put a Christmas tree up this year or not?
Yes.
Yes, Tony, you're going to play Santa Claus again.
Okay. I need a budget allocated for a Christmas tree. I would suggest £100. It was £100 last year. Well, it's £100 last year and £100 a year before. You don't get much for less than it.
We've still got the lights on it.
Well, there's a problem as well because some of the lights were vandalised last year, so we need new lights as well because they were cut and ripped. Yeah.
They got up and down.
No, they did it on the tree. They literally pulled them apart on the tree.
Why don't we set a budget for the tree and
I think we've got to set a budget for a tree and new lights.
Well, what is your estimate?
Sorry, Susan, do you want to say something?
Yeah, do you have a Santa outfit?
No,
we've got Bill.
No, but I've got a Miss Santa outfit.
If
you're volunteering.
Well, I thought you were going to wear it.
No. We're going to have to get some, if we're going to do it, we need new lights as well because
So is it
two of the strips of lights were vandalised last year.
So we're talking about 200?
I think you would need at least 200.
Can I suggest we look at more robust lights?
Yes, Maria was going to look
Yeah,
for that.
we'll start looking for that, yeah.
So, do we have propose a budget of 200? Do I have a seconder for that? Douglas, you second that?
Enough.
Well, I think we've got some lights.
Lights
We've
and wires,
No,
the
we-
tree, you want...
we've got the tree, that's 100 quid. We've got some lights, which is fine. We've got the star, which is absolutely fine. We just need a few more lights as well.
I would say, Tony, you're not going to plug it into my house, are you?
No, I'm going to plug it into the village hall and not tell you.
Through the back of the lane.
Yeah, okay. Proposal of £200, a seconder, those in favour?
Yep.
And those against? Okay, that's fine, we'll do the Christmas tree. We'll get that organised so that goes up beginning of December. The next one is Made. They are asking for a donation again. In the precept we've got it all budgeted in there, £450 which we gave last year. Obviously it is something that the Shepreth village children do use.
Which wasn't always the case, but it is now, and that's good.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah. So, Maid are asking for Melbourne Parish Council, if you could send the sum of 400 provided to continuing support of young people. So they're asking for the same as they did last year. So do I have a proposer to send them £450? A seconder? Those in favour? Those against?
So all in favour. Great.
Yes?
Made, you're part of Made, so
Yes.
it's not them.
No, well, it's
Actually,
just...
it's really important because it is 5 parish councils.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all...
And do you have a nominated person?
Me.
Tony.
Do you want to maybe delegate, if I may be so forward?
I could delegate it if you like. Does anybody else want to take over the
I
main?
think it should be a subcommittee that goes.
Yeah. We don't exactly have.
It's only that it be good, the meetings are inconvenient for anybody who's working.
I will. Yeah, it is.
No, it's not going to work for you.
It is
Tony.
difficult to get to the
It's not
meetings,
gonna
to be honest with you. But I will try and make an effort and take some time off to do it.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not suggesting, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it's been quite a while, we need somebody from Shepreth at the meetings.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We'll organise that. But we'll do that. So
I'll arrange for the transfer.
we'll transfer that £450.
We need to get their account details.
Okay, we've got another one here from, this is 624, this is Melbourne Parish Council
Community Hub, Melbourne
Community Hub. I'm writing on behalf of Melbourne Parish Council with regard to the operation use of Melbourne Community Hub. I'm happy to report that many organisations and community groups now make use of the hub. Some of these groups have citizen advice, relate, provide valuable services not only to the residents of Melbourne but those living in villages such as Shepreth. In addition, Hearing Help provided similarly widespread service from the Vicarage Close Community Centre. Melbourne Parish Council would be very grateful for Shepreth Parish Council if it felt to make a contribution towards the running of Melbourne Community Hub in order to continue these valuable services. So they're asking for money
Continue the services.
Continue the services. Jimmy. Okay, Ruth.
Firstly, would you like?
Well, the services that they're talking about here are citizens advice, relate,
relationships, isn't it?
hearing help, etc. Obviously, it's got the library, which we gave some money to last month.
Susan's talked about Mind.
And Mind and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah, they provide quite a few.
I actually suggested to them that they write to all the parish councils because I've seen the figures, I've seen the, some of those organisations keep a record of where people are coming from, and it's clear that they're not, it's not just people from Melbourne, and we're not going to get these services from anywhere else, so
it's good to.
I think it's actually quite late of them to be making this approach.
Yes.
So I'm glad they're doing it,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that they're running this for all of us, actually.
Yeah.
So is there a proposed shortfall?
I don't think they're not telling us about shortfall.
Is there a shortfall?
I don't know. I'm only what I've just said is those services are there free for all of us
to use.
And I don't think they're asking for anything unreasonable. The library has always made a request, but I mean the truth is Melbourne Parish Council is paying for the premises for the library and all the rest of it that we all have access to without any charge.
Thank you.
Decide.
Douglas.
I don't know enough about it. I'm not sure the structure and relate and where they relate to the hub and who's paying for what and what we're contributing to.
Well, we're not contributing to anything at the moment. I think they're asking for us to contribute
Presumably
to
if they
it.
say yes, we will be contributing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm contributing to.
Well,
relates to volunteer.
Well, the running costs of the bits.
Break up your marriage, you go to relate.
Oh yeah, but I'm not sending the money to relate, am I?
For them to go in
No,
there.
I think this is towards the running costs of the hub. What they're saying is that people from Shepreth can come along and use these services. They provide the services and the premises, and people from the other villages are using these, so therefore would the parish councils around Melbourne support the hub?
But is the hub charging relate for the use of the premises?
I have no idea.
Yes, it must.
Yeah.
It must.
You should go visit.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't cover their costs.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So how, firstly, would you like to do a name?
I mean, we turned down an application for relate, didn't we?
That was relate. I don't think this is going to relate, Doug. That
No,
was a
I
separate
think it's not,
application
but
to relate.
you know, but
Yeah,
relate's been mentioned.
Yeah, that was a direct request from relate.
Yeah, but it's also been mentioned in this.
Well, I think it's just because they.
I raised it because Relate often works alongside the Citizens Advice Bureau.
Right.
And those
Okay.
two went in together.
Okay.
For
Fine.
obvious reasons.
But I think this is more of a general request for funds to help run the hub, and they're just mentioning here some of the facilities that, or some of the services that
I
they
think I
provide.
understand that,
Yeah.
but is it because the hub has got a shortfall between its expenditure and its income?
I would imagine
and
so.
It needs to
Absolutely.
top that up?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
We don't know any of that.
We don't know that, but I would imagine.
They're not. Yeah. So mentioning Relate and Citizens Advice Bureau is not necessarily the central point, because they actually operate from there.
I think it's probably, yeah, you're talking about actual, you know, to help the hub go.
But if they're charging Relate and Citizens Advice Bureau, our money isn't going to
I think
the
they're
hub,
probably
not
picked.
Relate or
I think
Citizens
they've
Advice.
probably just picked on two things there that they're put in a letter. Perhaps they shouldn't have put that in there. They just should have said towards the running of the hub and everybody can use it or something. The fact they've mentioned those two things in that case might be a mistake.
More than those, they mentioned.
But they mentioned, you know, help the hearing or whatever it is and all sorts of things. But I mean, Jimmy.
Well, I think it's like our village has a self-contained unit. The money comes in from hire it out. I know they do a good job at that, but it's budget within their scale, isn't it? I mean, that is their village hall. They're running it, so they're getting the income. It could be a shortfall. I think we need to look into it a little bit further.
Ruth.
My eyes.
Oh, sorry, Ruth.
I think all the services that are run from there, the library, Relay, all these other services, obviously used by our village and others, yeah, I think they should get some support.
Do they village use it?
Yes, I think it's really. I think that people do use it. I mean,
I
it's
never
difficult.
heard of anybody saying I'm going to Melbourne to have a cup of tea.
Yeah, you might not actually
I
tell
don't know whether
if you go to
people
some of
would
these
tell everybody that they go in there or whatever,
Yeah,
but I think people
I
from
know,
Shepreth.
you would hear it. I don't know what advantage it has for us.
It's not just us here, it's everybody in the village, isn't it, I think? That's what you
Yeah, I mean, I may be accused of being a bit harsh, but would Melbourne give to our village hall?
No.
And maybe our rates are cheaper if Relate and all the other charities want to come here. Maybe we could do something very, very cheap.
I think, can I come in?
Yeah.
I think the issue is that Melbourne, in planning terms, is the big village, with the village college, and that's where the public, that surgery and so on, that's where the public services are going to be consolidated. It isn't a village hall, it is a community hub, which is a different thing. You couldn't, if you dispersed all of those services around the villages, they're not going to get, you know, you need to consolidate things. But I would recommend going to visit it and learn
Okay, all right. Well, Richard.
I'd like to know more information, because in principle I think it's a good idea to contribute, but you know.
Would you like me to
I've never been.
organise
So basically,
organise
there's a round robin here. You would like more information. You would like more information.
We'll send one of you to Relate, one of you
Ruth, you're happy.
one of you somewhere else, and then you can come back.
Douglas,
I
you'd
would
like
like more,
you'd like more information.
And what they want
I know the structure.
Okay.
I've never set
In that case, can we
Oh,
just
very nice.
can we write to them and say we're considering their request? Could they give a little bit more information as to what they're looking for and why they want it, etc., etc. I think I know what the answer
I
is.
think I will state now that if I'm told that all these wonderful organisations are costing the hub money because they're allowing them to work there very cheaply and they're using heat, blah, 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 and really to continue that, they need help from the other villages, I'd be keen to support.
Right, let's go back to them, find out more information and then come back. We'll organise a day trip there. Right, 625, draft precept. This is just basically me saying that I want to set the precept next month. Don't have to do it next month, but it's good to get out of the way before Christmas. I don't know if you want to have a meeting of the Finance Committee to go through this, Douglas, although I don't know who's left on the Finance Committee now. I propose to do it the same way that I did it last year, and that's go through each item individually and take a vote on it. So perhaps you could all have a look at the precept. We are going to spend our precept this year. I don't think we're going to have much left over at all. And we've all seen the letters from South Cambs saying there could be some other things coming our way next year, which was all circulated.
Could I raise one point?
Yeah.
At the next meeting, would it be possible for Maria to try and predict what we are going to spend if it's vastly different from the precept?
No, it's going to be.
Are they going to be not in total, but individual items? Do you think that's going to be?
Yeah, I think with the precept, this precept this year was just about on the nail.
Well, I suspect you are.
Yeah.
It was about on the nail, but we could have, as I say, you've seen the letters from South Cambs, which actually are you going to put on the website?
Yeah, I'll put the website along with a few of the bits and pieces as well. Yeah.
So can we all sort of just have a look at that and think about it? I really want to get that one set before Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the figures are all in the third column, the precept figures.
Well, we'd have to go through it and we'd have to set the precept. Yeah. We are going to have to be faced with a few bits and pieces that I think could increase. So I think we'd have to look at. Okay, finance for the village hall roof repair, Douglas.
Well, not much progress has been made. We've got a village hall meeting next Monday, haven't we? And we've all been rather busy. Yeah. It's going to come up for discussion, so we haven't really got much to say at the moment. Is that a fair comment?
Yep, so
Thank you.
you'll report back on that one then, Douglas.
Would you like it on the agenda next month?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right, exercise equipment on the wreck, Douglas.
Is that linked?
That's dead in the water.
That's dead.
That's
Okay.
dead.
Okay.
Right.
fine.
So we'll go past that one.
Yeah.
Riparian,
Talking of water.
yeah, riparian responsibilities for blah, 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 blah. I can't talk now.
Can't say it.
I've been talking too much all day.
Is this save the fish?
No.
Oh, right.
Riparian responsibilities for flood risk. We actually googled this earlier to find out what riparian means. I can't remember now. Richard.
Richard is.
Well, I just read it. So basically, it's just the county council saying if you live near water or you've got water on your land, basically it's all your responsibility. It's nothing to do with them, and they're just there to enforce the
I mean,
fact.
they're just self-developers, aren't they?
And it's just very well written to say that, really. That's the line. But obviously, as a parish, we've got the river Shep, which will be on part of some of our land. So that's really the crux of it. Maybe individually, but it's in his parish.
Or could flood part of that.
But it's not the Orinoco.
But it's, yeah, and actually, because of the river Shep.
And what they're saying there is
the boundary.
Yeah, and what they're saying there is that your responsibility, not ours.
We are lucky that we've got 4 Shep, basically,
Yes.
who are making sure that our
it flows.
duties in that sense are covered. So, but that's really what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions on that, ladies and gentlemen?
We've got the ditch on Hazel Lane, haven't we?
I guess gets a bit deep sometimes, doesn't
It does, but that's...
Especially when the sewage starts.
That's David Reed Holmes. Because I know there's, doesn't it go underneath Hazel Lane and go around the
I think what they're talking about here is where it's near our land, isn't it? So they're talking about...
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
So, I mean, the main one I can think of is obviously just the river all the way through the village. It touches upon all sorts of stuff. So,
I'll speak to River Transit and
I'm sure this has probably been this has probably been written by him.
Well, yeah, probably.
So I don't think it'll be a surprise to them.
I'll pass it on to them just to make sure that they can help and assist us
think
with any of this.
I suppose it's Steve our contact.
Yeah, Steve.
I mean,
I'll email Steve and say, are you aware of this? Is there anything that we need to do? Blah blah. Yeah. Because they'd be.
Okay, we can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do that.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll speak to Steve. Yeah.
Okay.
They know.
Right, so we're all aware of that. We've read it. We've inwardly digested it. We're going to speak to Steve.
It's for Shep. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's our liaison.
Because he's our liaison.
Could we just pass the buck to them and say?
Well, in fact, it is because it's being managed by them, and I think that's really
Do you
good.
think they should be providing life for us?
Right, correspondence for information only. Maria, you've received
I've had a
a
nice thank you letter.
thank you letter, a nice letter.
A thank you
Received
letter
a nice
from
letter.
the Friends of the River Shep, saying they would like to express its grateful thanks to the councillors for providing us with the opportunity to include a full Shep page within the official Shepreth Village website. Many thanks for your support. Liz Kendrick, on behalf of Friends of the River Shep. So that was nice.
Yeah, say that.
Yeah.
You write back saying thank you very much to include one of these leaflets.
You're on your own.
And the other item was, I've had one freedom of information request, which I think has been completed as far as I'm aware now. And the third item was about the post office. They're launching a home service.
You've just understood
I know,
No.
doesn't matter. I'll put it
You
on the
said it's a really
website.
nice one as well,
It is a
didn't you?
nice one. They're launching a home service, and I'll put the information on the website and in the newsletter for people who can't get to the post office. They're the three key things.
Anybody else with any correspondence received?
I've had some.
Yes, sir.
Some of you may remember that there were 2 complaints about me.
Yes.
And I've had letters back from South Cambs saying that I'm not too much in the wrong.
Yeah.
That I was accused of bullying. They don't think I did do any bullying. And another couple suggested that I was being rude to them. The response, I would like to go on the web so that the public can see it. I've cleared that with South Cambs, and that's all right with her, the legal officer there. The other point is...
I think it's quite interesting on these complaints is the fact that we were talking about it, weren't we, the cost to South Cambs of these complaints. And I think that we should put the responses
it's a very
on the web.
expensive ego
It was about £800 a complaint,
It's an
roughly.
expensive ego that somebody else
yeah,
pays.
Macmillan told me. So if you think about it, I think since I've been on the council, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 complaints. That's nearly £5,000 of public money.
How many have been up there?
No, never. And they're not complaints about anything. The one that Douglas had with what they were saying there, and we'll put it on the website, was very much that, you have freedom of you can say what you want as well as somebody can say to us what they want.
It's a free country.
It's a free country. So you can do these things, but these complaints, as I say, totaling nearly £5,000 in my time, which, they're saying we've got cuts coming left, right and centre, they can't do this, they can't do that. And we're dealing on, just seems bad. I just think we should put these complaints onto the website. So just a very simple thing, the complainant, the nature of the complaint, the result of the complaint, so the public can see who's doing what, where, when and how, and what it's costing.
The email that come back from South Cambs was, if I remember.
Are you alright, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That.
I've got an aspirin if you want to chew it.
You can put it on the website if all public know. Before we think about putting it on the website,
Oh, you've got to check first before you can do it.
Put everything, the complaint, the response, the
Absolutely.
result and all the rest of it. And the last thing I'd like to say is if I was getting complaints from a member of the public, I'd be taking a step back and thinking, what have I done wrong? I volunteered for
But
this.
the thing is,
That's
at the end of the day, that's if
that's
you're
my
guilty.
opinion.
But that's if you're guilty. I mean, so far, none of these complaints have ever been upheld. I just think the whole complaint should be put on the website, so everybody can see. People should know what it's costing.
It's expensive.
It's
but
very
I said
expensive.
If I was getting complaints.
Well, Fiona Macmillan worked out one of mine. She couldn't work it out, but she said it was about £1,400 in time and everything. And then people moan about potholes not being filled and bins not being emptied and things like that. Well, it just seems madness. But there you go.
I
think we should look into it.
There's a few complaints that don't actually get as far as South Cambs as well.
No, they just come to me.
Yeah.
So there's.
Like I said, if I was getting complaints of the public, I'd be thinking, so what have I done? 'Cause
Yeah,
I've
but the thing is,
I would take it to heart that I was getting complaints.
But you would, but I would suggest that if you went to court and you were found innocent, the innocent person shouldn't be saying, maybe I upset the criminal.
No, well, you got.
But that's the way you think about it. That's fine.
We work for the parishioners.
I think that people have got a right to make a complaint. I'm not saying they've got a right to make a complaint, but
I'm the first
Absolutely,
person.
yeah. But I mean, it's freedom of speech that we've got freedom of speech, which is what these complaints have said about us.
And there was a
And the public have
criticism
got
of
freedom
one of the
speech.
complainants as well.
There was a criticism of one of the complainants saying that actually they
were
were
wrong.
probably in the wrong. But there we go anyhow.
Anyway, there was another matter I'd like to talk about.
Right.
I went to a talk about something that's very important, and it makes all this complainant business and victimisation irrelevant. There is slavery going on in this country, and it was a lecture given by the police commissioner, and there must have been 4 serving officers of South Cambs, and it was on Saturday morning. There is slavery in agricultural areas in this South Cambs area. There are people who are domestic slaves and sexual slaves, and it's running into thousands of people in this country, and it's on the increase. They are victims, as opposed to some other people who I don't think are victims. That is a big problem and serious.
Can I ask, was there any indication where, I mean, was this county or was this regional?
This was
or
South
just a
Cambs
general
giving
thing
the
to
talk,
South?
and the head of South Cambs Police was there.
So that suggests it's really here.
And it's not just a thing that goes on in big cities.
It's prevalent throughout the country.
Yeah. But in terms of your talk, that's not general then, it was about this area.
It's specific.
This district.
There were, yes, but it is general as well. I'm adding, and they added that. But they have uncovered several bad cases of slavery.
Well, there's a note in the paper, wasn't it, on the news and all the rest of it.
But that is victimisation.
I think it brings things into perspective.
Yes.
The one thing is, you tend to sort of look
Yeah.
at it as big cities, whereas South Cambs
Yeah.
hasn't arisen, so yeah.
And some of the
Okay.
sexual stuff was horrible.
Okay, right, Jimmy, anything for the agenda next month, sir?
No.
I missed that one. Oh, sorry, I've done it the wrong way around. I'll ask the public. There's very few remaining now. Okay. I said earlier we must be getting boring these days. Used to have a full house till the end.
When you come back round, can I just...
Yeah, Jimmy, come round. Come down.
I'd like to thank everybody who turned out on Sunday for the memorial. It was a good turnout.
I thought it was a very good turnout.
Apart from one person, I won't mention his name, decided nearly took out the fence because he was that, I mean, desperate to get past the memorial.
In a 2-minute silence.
Because of 2 minutes silence, he went screaming up the curb.
Yeah.
But I was humbled and very proud to hear that, Reef. And I put that on my Facebook page. I felt humbled and proud.
And
all my lads throughout the world know I did it.
And as ever, Jimmy, you were scrubbed up to the nines.
Again?
But,
Yeah.
but I'd like to thank everybody who did turn up.
Absolutely. Anything for the agenda next month?
Not at the moment.
Mr. Kenzie.
Light in the phone box, you said something like that.
Well, it's nearly repaired. It should be on.
It should be on soon, next few days,
In
hopefully.
the next few days, yes, it
Hopefully,
should be, yeah.
he's working on it,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
It should be on.
Yeah. He's going to fit some sort of some
Well,
light.
that's all right,
yeah.
as long as it's
yeah.
gonna work.
Yeah.
It's hopefully,
Hopefully
fingers
it's gonna
crossed,
work.
yeah.
Richard.
Nothing to add?
Douglas.
No, I'm looking forward to the precinct.
Good. I will.
Did you ask the public?
I did indeed. Litter pick on Sunday, Village Hall, 10 AM. Ruth will be there, handing out various implements, bags, and
I can't
gloves, and
participate on Sundays. Mrs. Mann's got my two.
Is he?
you might not want to do that on film, Jimmy.
I wouldn't go near the rubbish yet. Get me out and do crayfish.
She's got two.
She said you've got one but not in
And
town.
paid, Tony, and paid.
Okay, that's fine. So, obviously, nobody left in the audience apart from Mr. and Mrs. Elliott, so I don't know if they can pass it round. If anyone wants to litter pick, come and help. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.